Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Omari Valentine here with the eBiz Marketing Academy with another webinar to kind of get things going this morning. Hopefully, you guys are having an awesome morning, and hopefully this lesson will stick with you a little bit through the rest of your day, and be something that you can go back and refer to as we continue this to discuss the topic of search engine optimization. So if you guys remember from last week, our conversation was around branding and the connection between branding and SEO, how those things kind of link up. So if you really kind of been following us along the, kind of through this process, as we talked about your marketing efforts, we've talked a lot about branding, and your branding efforts can really connect with your SEO efforts, and so you don't really need to think of those as being kind of distinct things. There are some things that you will be doing with your SEO that will be separate from your branding, that will be distinct from your branding. But you really, if you think about the things that you will do as you're branding your business, you also can see those as ways that you can build your SEO. If you have a website, or if you're looking towards having a website and you need to figure out how to start to drive traffic from that website. So kind of leading off from that, we're going to be talking a little bit more about SEO, and it's really important for us to think about. I mean, not SEO, but keyword, particularly what this topic is the quest to find the elusive money keyword, and maybe a term that you guys have heard or through webinars or have read about. But it's basically the ultimate keyword that you should be kind of target. So, to lead off, I guess what we should probably start is to ask the question of what is a keyword, and kind of talking about that. What the keyword is really kind of it really kind of good helps to back up and talk about SEO in general and why we need to do SEO at all. So the main reason that we need to actually worry about and deal with SEO is because search engines are not perfect. They're smart, but we need to help them. And what that means is that they understand, and they're getting smarter every day. They help understand the basic context, some context of the content that you put on the web, but a lot of the context they don't quite understand yet. So it needs to be something so they use what's called search signals to determine whether or not to show particular results to somebody on the other end who's actually searching for something, right? So if you're looking for trendy women's clothes, for example, how does Google know whether to show you brand X or brand Y? And then that's going to be through search engine optimization. And one of the ways that you can optimize for search is by by using what are known as keywords. So let's go with the SEMRush definition of what is a keyword. In terms of search engines, a keyword is any search term that's entered on Google or any other search engine that has a results page where websites are listed. Keywords are search terms that a website owner or SEO professional will use to optimize a website in the hopes of ranking at the top of Google's results for specific keywords. So again, you have an idea of what you want to rank for. Now you need to actually tell Google what search term that you think you should be ranking for, you should be showing up at the top of the search terms for. And obviously, if you just because you determine your keyword doesn't mean that you're going to show up at the top for that search. That's where some of our following conversations will kind of go into how you can use those keywords, to how you can take those keywords and implement them that will help you rank for those keywords. But the first thing, before we get into any of that, the first thing you need to know is how to find your keywords. What are your keywords? And that's what we're kind of talking about today. So why should you even care? I mean, if I have a website up and I just basically put it up and let Google do its thing, do its magic, and hopefully I can rank for some things and I can start getting some traffic. Or maybe you think, hey, I don't even really care about that stuff. I just want to send people, directly to my website. And maybe if I'm doing some networking or whatever, people can find me that way, or just directly on social media. And so there's some information that you guys should kind of be aware of that should give you some some pause about those strategies. And that is that 91% of web pages get zero traffic from Google. 91% of web pages. So that's a huge number of web pages. They're getting no traffic at all, and you don't want to be in that list. And guaranteed, the companies that are in, or the websites that are in that 9% are either doing some kind of basic work on SEO, or they're known brands. They're known websites, known website pages, website pages of known brands. It's very common to have web pages that don't get web traffic on Google. Oftentimes what happens is you have web pages that are on the homepage, home pages will get indexed. They all get indexed, but your homepage will generally get the majority of your clicks, but you won't get any clicks to your inner pages. So you also get web pages that you have the downside of having not only full websites that don't get any web traffic, which I've certainly seen, but you also have situations where you have a homepage that gets web traffic, but then you have inner pages that get no traffic, and that doesn't benefit you at all, because I'm sure you have really valuable content deep inside of the page, and you want to get traffic to those pages. And the other component to that I think is really important is that over 50% of web traffic comes from organic Google searches. So, you might think, well, hey, maybe I should be getting all my traffic from social media, or maybe I should get all my traffic from networking socials, networking events. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably not a strong strategy, unless you have, hey, if you've got a great social media platform and you're driving lots of traffic from social media, or you have great YouTube and you're driving lots of traffic from YouTube, more power to you. That's great, and it will help your SEO. But if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out how you should drive traffic, you should also think about SEO as a strategy that will help you to drive that traffic. And in addition to that, doing a great job with SEO can help you not to spend too much money driving traffic through ads. So the SEO is what's known as organic traffic, which means that you don't have to spend money on it at all if you do your homework with finding the right keywords and implementing the right keywords, and you also do your homework when it comes to your off-page SEO, which we'll get into later. You can find you'll be getting lots of free traffic, and you won't need to spend as much money on ads to drive that traffic to your website. So what SEO can give you, and what we're going to be talking about today, what this can give you is a higher quality of traffic, which means traffic that can come to your site, take the actions that you want them to take. One thing that doesn't really help us much at all is when you see traffic come into your site, but it's bot traffic, or people are coming and bouncing in high qualities. You end up with a really high bounce rate, but they're not really taking action on your site. That's not really helpful for us. We want traffic that's going to come and engage with the content, watch our videos, consume our, scroll down the page, click on links, leave their contact information, or purchase from us. So we want to make sure that we're driving the right traffic. It's not only important that you have a really good website, that's a really strong website that's designed well, that can help you do those things, but also important that you're bringing the traffic that's going to be the most interested in what you have to offer. And then, as I mentioned before, free traffic is great. Definitely something that I would recommend kind of doing these practices because of the ability, the ability of having free traffic. So what does ranking mean? I've used this term before, and why is it important? Ranking just basically means that the search engines display your page in its listings when people search for a particularly common used phrase, also known as keywords. So if I have if you guys are familiar with Google search, you can basically look at search, and you'll see a number of listings on the search results, and those are based on whatever you're searching for. So again, I'll go with the keyword trendy women's clothes. If you're Googling that, you'll see the number of the search results, and you can see the top ranking, the one that shows up at the top below the ads, that's going to be your the one that's ranking, quote unquote ranking. But pretty much any search, anyone that shows in the first page is going to get some at least significant eyes on, impressions on their results. And so you want to try to gear towards, if you're not on the first page for results, to get onto the first page. And if you're on the first page, then you want to get to the number one spot. That's kind of how you can kind of look at it. So, so with that, and the other thing I want to mention regarding ranking that's important is that we don't look at ranking as far as your whole website. So oftentimes people have a misconception that when you're trying to rank your rank your website. You want to rank for a keyword for your website. What's my website's keyword? So we don't really think about keywords in terms of websites. We think about keywords in terms of pages. So you want to have distinct keywords for the various pages on your site, and all of your pages should have something different that they're offering. So the idea is, I have a page that talks about certain thing. Let's say I go back to the trendy women's clothes. I may have a page that is related to dresses, and I may have a page that's related to women's women accessories or whatever it is. You want to make sure that you have pages that are related to the content, so that you can put keywords in those pages that are unique to that content, and you can rank those pages individually. That's going to be really important as well. So with that, let's just dive into the money keyword, because the money keyword is going to be the top keyword that you're really going to want to try to target. And let's kind of go into a little bit of a definition on that. So your money keyword is the keyword that will not only drive potential customers directly to your site, they also drive the right customers to your site, and that's going to be really important. So again, we talked about high quality of traffic. The right customers are going to be the highest quality traffic possible. So you really want to make sure that we're targeting the keyword that's going to give you a nice quality and quantity of traffic that directly to your page. That's going to make a difference for you. And we'll go into some strategies right now about how you can go about doing that. So, and then I'll actually go through an example of what I mean. So, real quick, how can you go about finding your money keywords? Now, it's not a terribly complex thing, but you need to do a bit of business discovery before you kind of go into it. And we've talked about doing some of these things before. If you're just joining us now, this is kind of how you can go into it. The things that I would recommend that you do as you're trying to find your keywords would be, first, select a business. So select your business. Basically, take your business. You're going to be, if you want to practice this, you can take this if you haven't started your business, or if you're just kind of interested for just kind of educational purposes. You can select a business as an example. So take a business. You're gonna make sure that you have a strong understanding of what this business does, and understanding of what your value propositions are. We've talked about value propositions in the past. Definitely recommend going back and checking that out. We'll also leave a link to that, so you can understand more about value propositions. But and then we'll and so definitely refer to that. And this is going to help you help you with the exercise of finding the keywords. So then you also want to understand who your target customer is. So that's going to be your customer persona. You can define your customer persona by age, gender, location, interests, anything that kind of narrows down your audience. You want to make sure that your customer persona is not too broad, overly broad. Be as specific as possible, because guaranteed, whatever you're selling, there's probably somebody else that's selling the same thing, and you want to make sure that you're selling to the exact customers that want your value, that can see your value above your competition. Then you want to discover, where can you find your target customers online? So you want to know where can I look online to find the customers that are going to do that are going to get me get the best give me the best results. So your online customer is going to be your core customer. Maybe your core customers are on Instagram, or maybe they're on Facebook, or maybe there's a group that they engage in. That's where you want to look for. You want to look for a group of your core customers online. The reason why that's important is because you can look, when you look on with at where your core customers are, you can kind of get a sense for the things that they are interested in, the things that they are engaging with, the types of questions that they ask. So this can give you some clues as to some of the keywords that they're searching for. So if you engage, let's say you're on you find that your customers are on you have a Facebook group, and you join your Facebook group, and you can see the kind of things that they talk about and the type of questions that they ask, and those sorts of things. That can help you to come up with a list of keywords. And so you're going to start to list out your keywords one by one. Just create a long list. You don't be conservative, just keep listing them out. You'll list out your keywords, and this is going to be something that you can use and refer back to start to pick out what your top keyword is. And then who is your biggest competitor? So you want to also look. You want to know who your competitors are, because these are competitors that you can plug into a Google search, and you can find out what those competitors are also ranking for. And then finally, this is the part that's good. Now, before I get into this next step, and this next step is how you're going to start to really target the keywords. Before I get into this next step, I want to talk a little bit about tools. So tools are going to be really important. And there are a few cool tools that you can use that can help you to find keywords and locate keywords and to compare keywords against each other. So the first, we'll start with the free tools. So the first tool that everybody can use, it's super easy to use, and you've used it probably many times already today, is Google search. So just a regular plain old Google search can really kind of benefit you. And so you can use the Google search to give you a good heads up as far as finding keywords. So you can see one of the things that you can do when you go into a Google search is you can type into a search, and when you type into a search, you can type your search term into a search. So like, let's say if I type in trendy women's clothing into a search, I can scroll down to the bottom, and I can see the related searches, and I can see a number of different things that show up for that search term. So trendy women's clothing to 2021, I can see trending clothing websites, trending women's clothing brands, women's clothing online, trendy women's clothing stores. These are all keywords and related searches to my search of trendy women's clothing. So that's a good starting point to help you start to understand how there's many different versions of keywords, and you want to try to find and identify the best ones. So the ones that seem to be the most relevant to what you're doing, if you have identified, say, a few keywords through some of these the practices that I've already mentioned to you, as you're writing these things down, you can plug them into Google search, and you can see relevant and related searches that can help you to find additional search terms that will benefit you. So Google is going to be your number one free tool. Number two free tool that I'll mention is the Google Keyword Planner. The Google Keyword Planner is another nice tool. Again, what makes it nice is that it's free. It also gives you some additionally basic metrics that will help you to identify the amount of volume that you can see for a specific search term, which basically means how many times people are clicking, how many times people are searching for this term. So it'll give you some basics in the volume, how many times people are searching for the term. It gives you information about how much advertisers are paying for the search term, and that can be really important as well, because you can use the advertising spend to help you identify which keywords are going to be the most have the most commercial value. So if you are selling something, or if you're looking to drive traffic that's going to immediately take action on your site, you're going to want to look at and piggyback on what advertisers are using to help you to identify which keywords you may want to try to target organically. Now, I'm going to move on to a couple of paid tools that will also help you do these things. And if you are just starting out with us, maybe you want to try out some free tools. You can also give a try to some paid, to some paid ones. A couple of these are freemium, so you go with the freemium aspect, pay for, get a free trial, and then cancel your trial afterwards. So you could try that as well if you just want to kind of try it out. But or try like there's one that's the called Uber Suggest. It's going to be the first one I'm going to talk about, Uber Suggest, and that one you can basically do a certain number of searches for free, and then after a while, they after you hit a limit, then you have to start paying, or you just need to put in your Facebook address, and then you can start to utilize that one. I will put all the links down below for these in case you're interested in checking them out. But Uber Suggest is nice because it gives you a few additional metrics. Not only does it tell you what the volume is and the PPC value is, how much the advertisers are spending on these search terms, but also gives you information about how difficult it is to rank for these search terms organically. That can be really really useful as well. So you want to make sure that you're using that metric, and I'll tell you, and as we go back to our steps to identifying your money keyword, we'll use that metric as well. Another one that I really like is SEMRush. SEMRush is really really great. Has lots of additional features, as well as having a really robust keyword analytics tool that gives you a lot of information about how the keywords have been trending over time. It can give you related search terms and in a variety of different ways. So definitely I think SEMrush too, if you're looking at getting really more in depth with it, that can be a really cool tool. And then Ahrefs is another one as well, kind of similar to SEMrush, that can give you some great strong keyword analytics. All right, so getting back into identifying the money keyword, you can use any one of these tools to help you do this next step. But this next step is going to be really important. So you're going to find, based on the things that we've already done, you're going to find 5 long tail keywords, and long tail keywords are keywords that are 5 to 7 word phrases. So that's another thing to think about as well, is when you're searching for keywords, it's always good to try to target 5 to 7 words in general. The long tail is basically a strategy to find value in niche markets. By targeting more of a niche market, it can be a much bigger benefit to you. You can rank higher in a niche market than you may be able to rank at the very beginning anyway, in a very broad market. So you really want to target a niche market. So you're going to find one keyword that you're already ranking for, that your website is already ranking for, and so you can basically go ahead and identify a website, find a keyword that you're ranking for. That's going to be one keyword that you're going to look at. Another keyword that you're going to look for is the keyword that your biggest competitor is ranking for. So you can plug them into Google search, and you're going to find the keyword that they are also ranking for. Then you're going to identify an additional keyword that describes your business. So like I said, I mentioned, for example, trendy women's clothing. Trendy women's clothing could be if I have a clothing store, let's say, a Brandy Melville or something like that, right? So trendy women's clothing would be something that they would probably be ranking for. If I'm looking actually right now, let's see who shows up at the top. Lulus.com. Lulus is ranking for, Lulu is ranking at the top for trendy women's clothing. Nordstrom, Macy's, these are the big ones. But there are going to be some, as I scroll down the list, I'm going to see some listings in here that aren't going to be these hugely massive brands. So you've got certain Nasty Gals in here, and Pink Lilies in here. So there's a couple of different ones in here that I can see that are not search terms that I'd be familiar with. Again, you want to look past the ads ads are listings that people are paying for. We're looking for people, what people are organically showing up for in these searches, right? Now, so now the next step that we have to do is we have to find a keyword that describes one of our services. So or services or products. So not only trendy women's clothing, but maybe we're looking for a specific brand. If you're doing an online store, maybe you want to find, maybe you're featuring a specific brand, or you're looking to determine which brands or which products you want to feature. So if there's a particular brand that you want to target, that you want to showcase, you can also include that into the search, into your list. And then you can also check for frequently asked questions. So like, frequently asked questions for a women's store might be, related to the sizing of the clothing, or the material of the clothing, these sorts of things. So these are, what are the fashion trends? Here's a good topic right here. What are the fashion trends for 2021? What are the top 10 women's clothing sites? These are some search terms that you can also look for as well. They're going to get fairly decent traffic. So if these are something, if it's something that you are really thinking about how you can bring traffic to your site, you can also look at trying to drive traffic to your site through keywords that are going to answer some questions that people are frequently asking when they're searching for these terms. So that can be beneficial as well. So so as you list out all these keywords, these are the keywords that you want, then you're going to look at your list of keywords, and when you look at your list of keywords, you will see that, and I will see here. So SEMRush, as an example, has a nice little tool that allows you to add keywords to lists. So you can add the keyword to a list, and then you can pull up the list and you can see all the keywords that you selected all in a row. That's one of the advantages that you can get from SEMrush. If not, you can certainly put those into a spreadsheet and write all these figures down, but it does make it a lot faster just to run through and click and add keywords to the list as you like. So that can be really beneficial. But point being, as I mentioned, you're going to compare many of the different analytics that we've already talked about. So the keyword search volume, the keyword difficulty, or how difficult it is to rank for those keywords, the cost per click, the PPC value, the cost per click, how much advertisers are spending on those keywords, and you're gonna choose keywords that have the best combination of volume, difficulty. Lower difficulty is better, so lower keyword difficulty, higher cost per click, and you're going to compare them. And based on the comparison of all the keywords that you selected, you're going to find the keyword that has the best one for the particular page. Again, we rank pages, we don't rank sites. So for each page, you're going to have a set of keywords that you're going to try to target, and you're going to list out the keywords, and then you're going to look at the keywords that have the best combination of volume, keyword difficulty, and cost per click. And that's going to determine how you're going to find the money keywords. So as I mentioned, not very difficult to do. It certainly is not. I would say it's not an art. It's art, not a science, but it is a science. There is a science to it, but there's no. It's not like something that you can just say, okay, this is obviously the only keyword that I can rank for. There's generally going to be a number of different keywords that you can rank for. You just need to find the best one. And the goal here is just to pick keywords that are the most relevant to your pages and that have strong volume and still have some commercial value. If you can pick those ones out, and you just do this over time and you practice, you obviously do with your homepage, really important that you do with your homepage, but you also do this practice with your inner pages. You can see that it's going to, you're going to start to find that it's easier and easier. And it's also something that you can revisit over time. So, over 6 months or a year, you can see how your progress is doing, and maybe you have different things or different content on your site, on your pages. You can then go ahead and change out your keywords. So that is that's how you kind of want to go about it. And as I mentioned, we have some resources on the site that can give you some little bit more information about how you can identify your value propositions and your customer persona. Hopefully you found that useful. In conclusion, I would say that every page, as I mentioned, every page that you have should have a top keyword that it targets. And that keyword does not have to be static. It can change over time, and doing these practices can help you make sure that you can rank. Again, we're only going into the first step of how to identify the keywords in our future discussions. In fact, next week we're going to talk about keyword implementation. So stick around next week for that. It's going to be really useful. So now you can take this what you've learned kind of in this webinar and combine it with next week to come up with a full keyword search, research, and implementation strategy for your website and for your website and for your pages. So I want to leave you with that. Hopefully you guys found this webinar to be useful, and we're looking forward to talking to you again in the future. Just so you don't forget who we are the eBiz Marketing Academy. We are an online community and platform for business skills learning. We're here to help you whether you're an e-commerce business owner, service business owner, local business coaches, marketing coaches, a digital marketer, whatever your interest in digital marketing is. We are here to provide our expert opinions and resources, as well as interviews and with other pros that we've come across in our practices. So hopefully you guys found that useful, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, guys. Enjoy your day.